The Big 12 may very well be the most competitive conference in college football this season. So today I'm going to go through game by game, week by week, and pick every single matchup for this season for all 16 teams now in the new expanded Big 12. Start with week 1. I think it's 16. Central Florida should beat New Hampshire. And okay, game 2, I really, I really want to pick North Dakota State. I think it's going to be a really good game. It's one I'm actually really excited for. I think NDSU has a very, very legit shot here, but I will take Colorado to win. It's on Thursday after this weekend. I'll take Colorado to win that, although I do think NDSU has a very, very good chance. KU should beat Lindenwood. Utah should beat Southern Utah. In TCU and Stanford, I just am not confident in Stanford at all. So give me TCU. And then Penn State should beat West Virginia. They just outmatch them. Now we have SDSU and Oklahoma State. This is another game I think that could actually be closer than a lot of people think. SDSU's off, I believe, back-to-back FCS national titles. They are legit. They could probably be very competitive in the Big 12. But I will take Oklahoma State. Probably a close game. One I'll definitely have to keep my eye on. Since they should beat Towson, Iowa State should beat UND. That's a weird logo for Tarleton, but Baylor should beat them anyway. KSU should beat UT Martin. Then we have Houston and UNLV. Houston, man, I do like the Cougars. I really do. They're my second team. But UNLV's got sort of a solid program. Houston probably going to be a Big 12 bottom feeder at least this year. So I'm going to pick the upset and take UNLV over Houston. Then we're going to take Tech over ACU, BYU over Southern Illinois. Arizona State should beat Wyoming, although could be another competitive game when it shouldn't be. Then Arizona should beat New Mexico. Week 2, Arkansas and Oklahoma State. I don't remember who I did the SEC video yesterday. I don't remember who I picked in this game. I'm gonna take Oklahoma State right now. Arkansas, well, I don't know if they're even the better team. They're not that good, but they probably have more talent, frankly. But I will take Oklahoma State to win this one anyway. Then Kansas State and Tulane. Tulane plays a very interesting schedule. They have moved on from their coach Willie Fritz. He's now at Houston. And because of that, Tulane's probably going to fall off just a little bit. Although they did beat K-State a couple years ago. It wasn't last year. It was the year before last. I'll take the Wildcats to win that one. Pitt and Cincinnati. Oh, Cincinnati was just atrocious last season. They were just so bad. Give me the Panthers in this one. Then we have our first Big 12 matchup between Baylor and Utah. The Utes are going to be solid. They have a very, very real chance of winning this conference and going to the playoffs. I'm gonna take Utah. Can't quite say the same about Baylor. Iowa and Iowa State. Although I do like the Cyclones, Iowa probably has the tougher team here. They do play Big Ten football, which is just a different breed of the game. So I'll take the Hawkeyes. Although the Cyhawk rivalry has been pretty competitive. West Virginia should beat Albany. UCF should beat Sam. Then we have KU and Illinois. What's his name for Kansas? He's their quarterback. He's back. I mean, he's going to be pretty good. And Illinois is just not anything special right now. They're pretty average at best. Then give me Nebraska and Matt Rule to take down Colorado at home in a rivalry. I say that with quotation marks. I don't know how real that really is. That'll be a big-ish a good win for Nebraska to sort of continue that Matt Rule rebuild. Then Houston probably not going to come out with a W against Oklahoma. TCU should beat Long Island. Arizona should beat NAU. Texas Tech and Washington State. I like Washington State, but I think Tech probably has a better team, although they do have to go up to Pullman. I don't know. Tech might not be very special this year. Ooh. Give me Washington State. Last time Texas Tech went north to play an opponent, they didn't do so hot. Lost to Wyoming last year. Miss State should beat Arizona State. Just outmatch them straight up. BYU and Southern Methodist. BYU's, they're struggling right now. They're struggling. SMU is projecting to have a very good season. I'll take the Mustangs. Arizona State should beat Texas State, although I do see them down there in New Braunfels. I see what they're doing. I'm like 90% sure they're in New Braunfels. I'm like 90% sure. It's down there by San Antonio. Whatever. KU should beat UNLV in the bowl matchup, rematch, I guess. Arizona and Kansas State, probably one of the bigger games in the conference for the entire season, and it's only in week 3. Both teams are 2-0 at this point. The Wildcats do have the home field advantage. Arizona and Kansas State. Arizona did have to move on from their coach. Well, actually, Jetfish left them. The stability at Kansas State is promising. They've got Avery what's his name at the helm. Give me KSU. Cincy should beat Miami. Tech should beat UNT. Okie State should beat Tulsa. Then you have Pitt. Pitt plays West Virginia. Backyard brawl. Give me the Mountaineers. Nice little win there. Utah should beat USU. Baylor should beat Air Force. CU should beat Colorado State. Then we have UCF and TCU. Could be another real good game. It really could be. UCF did get that quarterback from Arkansas. What's his name? Gosh, I keep forgetting. Let's give me Central Florida on that one. Rice and Houston. Give me the Cougs. And the Cougs again. BYU should beat Wyoming. UCF right now 3-0. Bunch of teams 3-0. No one's winless, so that's good. Week 4, we're really getting to Big 12 play now. Kansas State should beat BYU. Colorado and Baylor. This is sort of a toss-up, really. I really don't like either of these schools. I am an A&M fan. I do have a little bit of bias against a couple of the teams in this conference. But I will choose Baylor to beat, well, I don't know. They've got Dave Aranda. Dave Aranda's just not that good. Although they got DeQuan Finn. I'll give them the advantage. They've got DeQuan Finn. Oklahoma State and Utah. Another one of those big matchups. I could really decide who's going to the playoffs. Utah and Okie State. The Utes are going to be really good. They just really are. They're going to be good this season. But same for Oklahoma State. It's pretty much Utah, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State. They're up there. One of them is probably going to win the conference. This is one of those deciding games. Kind of stalling. I want to go with Utah. I want to go with Utah to beat Oklahoma State. And that's what I'm going to do. SMU or TCU. This one's in Dallas, so I'll give it to SMU. Tech should beat Arizona State. U of H should beat Cincinnati, I guess. Kansas and West Virginia. Ooh, on the road for KU. Pretty big hype going into this for West Virginia. I'll take the Mountaineers. I'll take the Mountaineers for a nice early season victory over Kansas. Gets them to 3-1. Both teams would be 3-1 after that. Iowa State should beat Arkansas State. Brigham Young and Baylor. Got the Mormons and at Baylor. Yep. I'm gonna go with BYU to beat Baylor on the road. I'm pretty sure Dave Aranda's gonna get fired. They're 3-2 right now in this projection. I'm pretty sure Dave Aranda's gonna get fired. Oklahoma State and Kansas State. This is like the third big matchup in this conference. The third of three. It's at Kansas State. It'll definitely be a competitive game. One of the games of the week. I'm gonna go with K-State. No. Let me go with Oklahoma State. Let me go with OSU. Might be just a little bit of an upset, but Pokes are looking pretty good. So is Kansas State. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State though. KU should beat TCU. Tech should beat Cincinnati. UCF should beat Colorado. Iowa State's probably gonna beat U of H. We move to Arizona. Arizona's like a little bit of a sleeper team, but as I said, they did lose Jetfish, so I'll take Utah. Houston probably not gonna beat TCU. Kansas should beat Arizona State. Iowa State's probably gonna beat Baylor. Okie State should beat West Virginia. And then I'm going to go with Arizona to beat Texas Tech. And then Florida to beat UCF. Utah, probably going to beat Arizona State. Arizona, probably going to beat BYU. Kansas State should beat Colorado. And then I'll go with UCF, a nice victory over Cincinnati. And Iowa State beats West Virginia. We are about halfway through the season. Utah 6-0, Cincinnati 2-4, along with Houston, Arizona State, and Colorado. But Kansas State and Oklahoma State are up here, as well as Central Florida and Iowa State. Kansas is up there too. Okie State probably going to beat Brigham Young. Iowa State, sort of a big matchup at this point in the season. UCF and Iowa State. Give me the Cyclones. Kansas, probably a victory over Houston. Tech or Baylor, the good old butt bowl. Nothing like the butt bowl. Texas Tech got the home field advantage. Arizona probably going to beat Colorado. And then we have Arizona State and Cincinnati. Bottom feeder battle. Do I go with the Sun Devils or the Bearcats? I'll go with Cincinnati because they're playing at home. Utah probably going to beat TCU, and Kansas State probably going to beat West Virginia. Okie State should beat Baylor. I'll give this one to Colorado. Kansas and Kansas State Sunflower Showdown. I'm going to go with a bit of an upset here. Kansas on the road to beat K-State. I'm pretty sure they've got a super duper long winning streak. KSU does have over Kansas. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go with KU to break that up here. Sort of throw a wrench into K-State season. Then, this is like the battle for the saddle or something between Tech and TCU. I'll take the Horned Frogs in that. Then we got Arizona and West Virginia. This is a tough one. There's so many teams in this conference who are almost evenly matched. It's probably almost impossible to predict this conference right now because everyone, except for maybe U of H, ASU, Cincy, everyone except for them is pretty evenly matched. Everyone between like 4 and 12, 13. Most of these games are toss-ups. I'm going to go with Arizona to beat West Virginia. I think they've got just a better team right now. And then UCF to beat Brigham Young, and Utah to beat Houston. TCU or Baylor. Is TCU on a winning streak right now? Sorta, kinda. How about Baylor? Baylor has not been doing well. I'll give Baylor the win over TCU. Then we get Iowa State and Texas Tech. How have these two teams been doing? Iowa State's on a nice little streak. How about Tech? It's been back and forth. That's interesting. Home teams won every game. I'll keep that going. Iowa State beats Texas Tech. Okie State should beat ASU. And then UCF and Arizona. UCF's probably going to be decent, but Arizona's probably contending for a spot in the conference championship game at this point in the season. Kansas State should beat U of H. Week 11, give me Central Florida over ASU. Kansas and Iowa State, another sort of sneaky game that could be really important. Both teams are 7-1. I do like that Kansas is playing. Well, I guess it won't be a home game. It'll be at Arrowhead. Rocco Beck gets it done. I'm gonna go with Rocco Beck in the Cyclones. Okie State probably with a victory over TCU, although this could be sort of a sneaky upset sort of game. Tech should beat Colorado. West Virginia should beat Cincinnati. And Utah should beat Brigham Young. The Holy War. And week 11, that's weird. Utah 9-0. Iowa State, this is surprising. Iowa State's 8-1. Oklahoma State's 9-1. A lot of pretty solid teams up here. Probably, for the most part, ranked top 15. So, really good race for top 2 spots going into week 12. Arizona over Houston. KU over BYU. Although that one could be sneaky. Utah over Colorado. Iowa State over Cincy. Kansas State over Arizona State. And Baylor or West Virginia. They're both 4-5. I'll take West Virginia. Brigham Young. Neither team are going bowling. Give me Arizona State for their first ever Big 12 win. K-State should beat Cincy. Kansas should beat Colorado. Then we have Tech and Oklahoma State. This could be a sneaky one. It really could be. Texas Tech 6-4 at this point in the season. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State. They're just the better team right now. Arizona over TCU. Although TCU's still fighting for bowl eligibility. Give me Arizona. U of H over Baylor in a bit of a surprise win. That one might put the nail in the coffin for Dave Aranda. And then Utah or Iowa State. I'll take Utah to go 11, to start 11-0. Not bad for them. Take Utah to win that game. Although, at this point in the season, give me Iowa State. Give me Iowa State for a upset win in Salt Lake City. West Virginia or Central Florida. It's just, they're both like meh. I'll go West Virginia for home field advantage. Okie State should beat Colorado. Utah should beat UCF. KU probably with a win over Baylor. And then BYU should beat Houston. This part of the conference is just bad. This is bad. Iowa State or K-State. Farmageddon. This is, I think, the last Farmageddon scheduled for a long time. And I mean a long time. Give me K-State for the upset to put them back in the conference title race. Although I don't think they can. No, they're kind of locked out of it right now. That's interesting. Still give me K-State for the upset. Um, Tech over West Virginia. Arizona and Arizona State. I'll take Arizona, and then TCU to beat Cincinnati. Oh, that's it. Oh, wow. Boy, this could be a fun conference. This really could be. Utah, 11-0 with their one loss to Iowa State. I could see them losing to Okie State, but that's really the only other threat they have. Oklahoma State, I do have losing to Utah right now, although, well, really, they don't play anyone else any good except K-State. It's this 2-week stretch right here that's going to sort of define the conference. Pretty much winner of this game goes to the conference title game. Okie State and K-State. Iowa State 10-2. That's pretty surprising for me. They should be UND. Probably lost to Iowa. Then they don't have a real big threat till maybe West Virginia. Sort of just depends how they're playing. Maybe Texas Tech. Maybe KU. I did pick that as sort of an upset. They could be looking more 8-4. It just sort of depends on how everything goes. I did pick the upset against Utah, but it's just so hard to pick upsets. Arizona at 10-2. Losses to Kansas State and Utah, but just winning out besides for those games. That would be a really, really good season for their new head coach. I don't know his name. Where did they get their guy? Was that the guy from San Jose State? I don't remember. Something happened with San Jose State. Anyway, Arizona probably gonna have a really good season. KU at 10-2. Losses to West Virginia and Iowa State. Could be a couple tricky games. They do play Sunflower Showdown. Could be tricky. Could go 9-3. If they go 9-3 with a loss to Kansas State, kind of throws a wrench in things. Still a really good season though. K-State lost to Okie State and KU. Nothing else really threatening. Maybe Arizona. Maybe Iowa State. We're going to have a lot of really solid teams in this conference. Looking towards the bottom, we have Brigham Young, Houston, Baylor, Arizona State, Colorado, Cincinnati. I do not care what any of y'all say. I don't hate Colorado enough to pick their schedule like this, but I just don't think they're a good team. Nebraska's a better team. Maybe they beat Baylor. Maybe they beat Cincinnati. Oh, I do have them picked to beat Cincinnati. Maybe they beat Kansas. Maybe Tech. They're not going to go to a bowl game. So, 3-9, that's rough. I mean, that's really rough. You could see Dion moving on after this. After his kids graduate, go to the draft. Cincy at 3-9. I don't know who their coach is, but definitely on the hot seat if this ends up being their season. Dave Aranda definitely gets fired if this happens. I don't know what's going on to Arizona State. I just don't. They very well could lose to Texas State. And that would be really bad. I mean, that would be really, really bad. Just not a lot going on here, really. Not a lot of winnable games for them. U of H at 3-9, kind of sad for me to see, but they play a tough schedule for them at least. Wins over Rice, Cincinnati, they could beat UNLV. That's a winnable game. But also Baylor. I picked them for that. That's kind of it though. Interesting. I hadn't seen what all these team schedules look like, so it's kind of cool to go through here. It could be a pretty top heavy conference. Could be a lot of bad teams that just get beat up on. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Utah in that championship game. Utah and probably Okie State or Kansas State or Iowa State. That's my guess. And I will pick Utah to win the conference as well as go to the playoffs. Anyway, that has been my 2024 Big 12 football projections. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, peace.